Namaste. Welcome. I'm Dawn of Dawn's Yoga and Wellness. I created this space as a community, a safe community where you can be empowered to take control of situations that maybe up until this moment you felt out of your control. I'm a heart centered chair yoga teacher who empowers my students to use intentional movement, intentional breath, and other yoga techniques to find guilt free rest throughout your day. I not only empower you to find guilt free moments of rest, I also empower you to use these techniques to find relief from chronic pain. If you have had back pain for a long period of time or have a medical situation where you have ongoing chronic pain, there are yoga classes and tools that I offer here in my channel, in my community, that can help you find relief and use yoga techniques and use yoga to manage your pain. I'll talk more about that throughout the community, and I invite you to look around, learn more about what I do, and experiment with some of the class offerings that are available to you in this space. I came to yoga about over 20 years ago now when I was pregnant with my second child. I had really bad sciatica, and I had a VHS tape that I was lent by my massage therapist at the time. And I practiced all through second, third trimester. And the time I spent practicing yoga made a difference in the way my body felt. And I experienced relief in my lower back. I was able to be a little more comfortable. I don't recall if my sleep improved, but I'm guessing it probably did. And I left yoga for a while. I had the baby, busy with the baby and a young toddler at the time, or preschooler, I guess, at that time. And when I circled back and returned to work full time after maternity leave, I needed something. I was craving something beyond just the walking. I was always walking. I was always active. I needed something different. I was very angry. I now know I was probably in the throes of postpartum depression. And then I decided I was going to try yoga. And I had been resistant to the idea of doing yoga because I was always under the impression that it was really too slow. I was doing Pilates. I started in Pilates. I still love Pilates. But I needed something different. So I looked around and I found a yoga studio near my office. And the classes were in the evening after work. So I went. I laugh because it was a Bikram class. And Bikram is a style of yoga that involves 26 specific poses, and they're practiced in a certain sequence. There's no variation, there's no modifications. It's do or die. It was hard in a hot room. And while the Bikram style it has its place in Hatha yoga and vinyasa and a lot of the more athletic styles of yoga have their place, I was glad I started with the Bikram, because when I walked out of that class and I was returning to my car, I remember having a conversation with the guard of the building where I worked, where I parked. And I remember the one thing that I remember mentioning, and it stuck with me to this day, 20 years later, was how much calmer I felt. And I wasn't necessarily a very calm person, very high strung, very nervous, lots of other stuff, not for this particular video, maybe more later. You can also follow me in other places that I will list in the description, and you'll learn a little bit more about that part of my story. I went back the next day. It was a 2-class pass. Same thing. The physical, the emotional, the calming effect this practice had on me was incredible. I now know it was likely because I was breathing deeply. I was really getting a lot of oxygen, and I was also through that breathing the different movements, or the asana or the poses, tapping into the parts of my mind that signaled to my body that it was safe to release and relax. And that is the philosophy of my teaching style. My goal is to create a safe space where each of my students are empowered to be so safe that they too can tap into those mind and body connections, sensations, neuropathways, whatever terminology and name you want to give the process, and to create moments of guilt-free rest. Modern society, we don't rest. Rest is not valued in modern society. My invitation to all of you is to explore the possibility of what it might be like to experience guilt-free rest. Start with 60 seconds and then imagine what you might experience in a 30-minute class. That's what it's like to practice with me. I'll talk a little bit more about the types of classes I offer and what you might expect in another video. So be well, and in the meantime, be well, and I'll see you here again very soon.